Welcome to the Lindsay and Tony podcast, where we talk about spirituality, business, and life experiences.
In this podcast, we're bringing our private conversations to you.
We believe that it's through discussion, action, and reflection that true change occurs.
Hi everybody, welcome to episode 135, Top Insights from 2020. In this episode, Lindsay and I share our top insights, our top moments that shifted our entire world. And as you know, when you shift the way that you see your world, your entire world will show up differently. It's all about the law of attraction, the law of vibration. What you put out into the universe through thought, through energy, it's going to come back to you. So it's so valuable to think about, what are your top insights? What are the top ways in 2020, the top moments that shifted the way that you see your own world, whether it's in your relationships, your business, or your overall life in general. I hope everybody enjoys the show.
Hi guys, welcome back. We're so excited that you're here. Today's episode is all about the top insights of 2020. And I think it's important to talk about these because we're going into 2021. Just like our other episode, we talked about the importance of that to reflect on previous situations that have come up in our life, right?
It's so important. Insights, I'm looking at the top needle movers in your life. What are the top events in your life, or the things that you did that transformed your life the most this year? To where you looked at it and you're like, whoa, I'm looking at life in a totally new way. And we know that when you look at life in a different way, your whole life transforms.
Yes. So should I start?
Yes. So what's your top insight from 2020?
Gosh, I have so many, but to limit them, I limited it down to a few. One of the things that I feel like is so important is communication. Because right now, more than ever, it has been a time of really communicating your feelings because there's been so much circulating in the world. So my thing is I always knew it was important to stay connected with my past loved ones, and we both know this, but also how important it is to communicate with your loved ones that are here, still living. And when there is an end to communication, if communication is stopped in any way, that is the death of every situation. And I think to think about that again in your mind. When you stop communicating and you shut down, it's the death of that situation.
It is. The energy stops moving, right? And
right.
You feel that too when you're experiencing that. You feel that energy stopped.
Yes.
And you think of that person with that relationship. And we know how moving energy is. We always talk about moving energy. And that's how you move energy, is communicating, right? Mm-hmm. Making that phone call, overcoming your ego, overcoming all those things that you're thinking, well, they should be calling me. I already called them. And all these different things that we tell ourselves. And it's like, let's be the bigger person and make that phone call and speak our truth, right? And that's all we can do, is speak our truth. We can't control how the person's going to respond to it.
Right. You have to express your hurts, your desires, your feelings, and that's the hardest part for me, is expressing your heart and being vulnerable, but then releasing that expectation of what other people are going to do. Because that is the most hard, that's the hardest thing I've had to learn this year. Is sharing my vulnerable side, sharing my heart, sharing my hurts, and then not getting what I wanted. And I think that was a lesson, that I can't always get what I want. I can't get people to be the way that I want them to be and respond how I want them to be. And that has been hard. And it's still a journey for me, but it's definitely one of my top insights.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things, like every basic, powerful principle, every truth, is you have to keep reminding yourselves, because we have a human side and we have a spirit side. So it's easy to get lost in this world with the human side because we're doing a lot of human things. And then that's why we make this podcast, and that's why we study other podcasts and videos and courses and books, because it's an ongoing journey.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I think that's important. Always express yourself no matter what. Do your job as best as you can to share truth. When you hide truths, that is another part of the communication where it's closed off. It becomes like a gray area, and it gets confusing.
It does, and the scary part is the thing that I find most scary is having the knowledge that most people are not going to share their truth.
Right.
So that being said, when as I go to share my truth with people, it's having that expectation really of, well, not really expectation, but having that understanding that they may not receive it in the way in that moment that I want them to receive it, and they may not share their truth with me, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
You really have to be okay with that, and that's a challenge.
And sometimes people don't share their truth because they're afraid to hurt people, but indirectly it actually hurts people more by not sharing, because that's an energy thing. It exudes off of you. Truth exudes off of every single one of us. Even if you're not aware of your psychic sense, you're still feeling that energy. So it's important to communicate it with words too, because then there's no gray area. That's the big thing. So communication is huge insight for this year. The other thing is the power of love, and it goes with communication. You can give love. We're all made of this love, but it's really important to know that we are made of love. When we have fears come up, it's very easy to show that human side of us and have hatred, which is very strong, and say things that aren't kind to people. I know that that's a lot circulating online. People are being, ridiculed for beliefs and, whatever it is. And it's something that can come up. That's a human side of things. But really what it comes down to is we're all surrounded with love, and we have to remind ourselves of that. My insight is we all gravitate towards love, but it's easy to get caught up in other things. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel like love is very important with this 2020. Is like people feel better when they go to serve. If you think of the things that we've done throughout our life, those moments of feeling of love, it's been when we were serving.
Exactly. It wasn't when you were trying to prove somebody else right or wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're alluding to when you're talking about is like we live in a society, especially on Facebook, Instagram, everybody's trying to prove everybody else wrong. And me and my friend were talking about this earlier, that there's no right or wrong. Really, once you come to a conclusion and you're like, oh, this is the right answer, well, you find like 9 things wrong with that, right? There's no absolute right or wrong, so you're kind of spinning your own wheels when you're communicating what you're trying to tell somebody that's not receiving it. You should recognize that right away and stop right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely true. But always do things with love. That's the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it is getting out of our own way when we're doing that too. Do you have one that stuck out for you?
Yeah, so my biggest insight, it came from tragedy, and I feel like a lot of times insights will come from negative circumstances if you're open to that. And we talked about this in the last podcast episode 134. And with my sister-in-law, Kylie, passing away over the summer, I had 2 cousins pass away that live in Louisiana, and it was just like a wake-up call for me. And it was one of those things where you hear live now all the time. Live now, speak your truth, all that. But it really hits you when someone passes away, especially somebody you don't expect to. Somebody so young. Kylie was like 24 years old. Mm-hmm. It hits you. It hits you in the most profound way to where you think back to all those times that you saw that person. Not only that, you think about your nephews and nieces and all the other people in your life, and you think about all the times that you held back because you were trying to some kind of egotistic behavior. You were holding back, and you realize that time with those people you'll never get back. And it hit me this year to where I realized when I do speak my truth to my family, because you have to do that. Relationships are a challenge. So all the people that are alive here, that are surrounded in your life right now, there's problems in relationships. And if you don't expect problems to be in relationships, then I think that's kind of neurotic. Yeah. A neurotic way to look at it right there. So it's a challenge, and it's a challenge speaking your heart. It's a challenge speaking your truth. But what I realized was it's so powerful just to live real, just to live authentic, just to share everything with everybody, even if it's uncomfortable. I know there's times where I tell people, hey man, I really love you. I'll come off in that different way with my friends or family, and sometimes it'll get a little awkward because how many men tell another man that they love them, or how, everybody's not used to hearing that. Or even if it's not saying I love you, it's like having another vulnerable conversation. And this year more than ever, made me okay with that awkwardness, with that tension that you'll feel during these moments, because I would rather go through that tension than have somebody pass away and me not ever experience my ability to tell them the truth and to experience that tension.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like that's huge, and it really is about relationships and connections and sharing, because like you said, naturally a part of life, there's going to be different things that come up. There's going to be disagreements that come through with relationships. That's a human part of life. If there's not disagreements and you've never had a disagreement with anyone, then you know that one of you is not sharing your truth.
Right. You can't grow there.
You can't. There's no way possible. Someone's holding back. So it's how you navigate through those moments and really truly living and saying how you feel, and not putting it off, doing the things that you want to do too. Thinking about, this kind of moves away from relationships, but thinking about all those people that retired this year that said, I'm going to wait for retirement to take that vacation to Europe, or to take the cross-country trip, or to do whatever it is. Well, you can still do those things, maybe not travel outside of the country if you're, wanting to do that. You can still do the road trips, but it might not be the same. We're still doing different things that we want to do, but it's not the same. So there's a lot of restrictions that are put out there right now, and we can easily put ourselves in our own box, our own restrictive box with the jail cell. Almost like feeling like we're in a jail cell, like, okay, we can't do this right now. Like, what is the reason you can't do it right now? So now is more than ever with 2020, I hope that everyone jumps on the opportunities that they've been putting off for so long. I hope this is the fire that's lit underneath you that thinks, you know what, I'm making it happen. I'm doing this because now I have the freedom to do it, when these, whatever it is that's been holding you back from 2020 because of the rules.
Exactly. It goes back to the powerful question that you should ask yourself a lot, actually, is what if you only had 6 months to live? Or if you only had 12 months to live? How would you live the next 6 or 12 months? If you're not living that way now and you're not pursuing all those different things, then it's time to adjust that a little bit, because I think back to my sister-in-law Kylie and my cousins, and I'm thinking, they can't here on planet Earth. They're still doing their thing in the spirit realm, but no longer are we going to see them create different goals and do the things that we saw them doing and have the ability to make changes in their lives. Well, it's gone. It's not here anymore for this lifetime. And if you think about your own life, you don't know how long you have to live. You don't know how long the people around you have to live. So if you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to go on vacation with my parents, I'm going to go on vacation with my grandparents and my friends, but we'll wait until next year. I'm going to start this business with my friend, but we'll wait until we pay off the house. There's always going to be a reason why you should not act in this moment, because whatever you're looking for, we live in a universe to where whatever you're looking for, you're going to see. So if you're thinking, why shouldn't I do this right now? You're going to find 20 different reasons, 2,000 different reasons of why you should not do it. But if you look of why should I do this right now, you're going to find a million different reasons of why you should. So I think you should ask yourself that question, why should I do this right now? And I think that you'll start to find a lot of answers that are hidden inside of you that will give you the desire, give you the energy to actually take that action.
That's beautiful, and I think that's a perfect way to end this episode. And just by hearing the things that we've shared, think about those things, but also think about your own insights that you've had and share with us at least one of them, or something that was relatable from today's episode that you want to share that resonated with you. We appreciate you. We're so thankful for you, and we can't wait to go into this new year with you with more episodes and more interviews and so many more fun things. So
definitely, we really appreciate all of the viewers, all the people that send us comments, everybody that really values this podcast. We put so much time and energy, and we put our hearts into it. And we appreciate you, and we promise that in 2021 we're going to keep on putting them out. We're going to keep speaking our heart. This is one of our ways that we're living our truth and sharing our truth with the world. So like Lindsay said, figure out your way that you could do that.
Yes. See you guys next time. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. If you liked it, leave a 5-star review on iTunes, and remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel too.
If you can think of anyone else that would love this episode, share it with them right now on social media or email. And remember, getting results is a process of learning, applying, and reflecting. Stay consistent and continue to grow every day.